Superfood Evolution presents Canola Oil. How it's made and reasons it's best avoided. Canola oil comes from a plant that was initially bred in Canada in the 1970s from the rapeseed plant Brassica napus, a cruciferous vegetable in the mustard family. To produce a food-grade oil with a lower erucic acid content than rapeseed, another cultivar was developed through crossbreeding. The original name for canola oil was called Lear oil, short for low erucic acid rapeseed. The name canola was later adopted for marketing purposes, which is a blend of the words Canadian oil low acid, or canola. Canola is distinguished by its bright yellow flowers and familiar-looking seed pods common to other brassica plants like kale or broccoli. Although it is refined from the seeds of the plant, it is considered a type of vegetable oil. Canola oil, because it is rather cheap to produce, has many uses in processed and packaged food products and has been greatly utilized industrially since the time it was first created. The growth of commercial canola oil manufacturing as an edible vegetable oil came shortly after genetically modified crop varieties were produced in the late 1990s, leading to an increased supply. Over the last several decades, there has been a large debate about whether refined vegetable oils like canola are good fats we should be consuming on a regular basis. Here are our top reasons why you might want to consider other oil alternatives. Top 5 reasons why canola oil might not be a good choice. Number 1. Canola oil and its refining process. If you've ever visually witnessed how canola seeds are processed to make vegetable oil, you will know that it is a long and involved procedure, not a simple one like when making unrefined oils. It begins with seed cleaning, flaking, seed cooking at temps between 176 to 221 degrees Fahrenheit, and seed pressing. The remaining press cake also receives chemical solvent extraction, usually hexane, to draw all the oil from the seeds. Canola oil then undergoes the standard RBD process, which stands for refined, bleached, and deodorized. These techniques remove impurities and odor, but most importantly, commercially speaking, increase the oil's shelf life and smoke point. The end result is a clear, rather innocent-looking light yellow oil that can last up to 2 years or more without going rancid. The refining process basically strips out all of the potential nutrients. Some health experts refer to refined vegetable oils like canola as plastic oils, because they chemically alter molecules in the oil in a very unnatural way to render a consistent product with a neutral flavor and smell as well as extended shelf life. It is commonly believed that these types of refined oils can have harmful effects, especially on the liver when consumed regularly. Generally, it is our personal opinion that canola oil is best avoided as a main oil option. Rather, consuming a variety of high-quality fats and oils like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil can be better dietary choices for long-term health. Here are a few other reasons why you might want to avoid regular use. Number 2. Most canola oil is genetically modified. In the 1990s, the company Monsanto developed and patented the first strain of Roundup-ready, genetically modified canola seeds. This basically means that the plants can be sprayed with the herbicide known as glyphosate, and it won't kill the canola plant, only the weeds around it. GMO canola is grown by almost all major countries producing canola oil crops. After soy and corn, it is next on the list of top genetically modified foods. Consequently, as of 2019, about 90% of the canola oil sold and used commercially in food products is genetically modified. Some research does indicate that glyphosate is a very toxic substance that can impact human health. The question is, does GMO canola oil contain glyphosate residues? Unfortunately, monitoring oils for potential contamination is currently not a required procedure. What about non-GMO organic canola oil? If you're going to use canola oil, we definitely recommend non-GMO organic varieties, as these are probably your best bet as far as quality. These are expeller pressed oils that go through a double pressing and don't involve the use of chemical solvents. However, even most higher quality expeller pressed canola still goes through an extensive refining process to produce an edible oil. We scoured the internet looking for cold-pressed and unrefined canola, and it is very rare. We did find one unique Canadian product made in Quebec, so it is possible. Remember that canola oil must explicitly indicate on product labels the term expeller pressed and have organic certification and non-GMO seals for it to be a genuine product. Number 3. Canola oil and polyunsaturated fats. Yes, it is true that the seeds used to make canola oil are naturally high in both the polyunsaturated fats known as omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, usually in a good 4:1 ratio. However, the refining process that most canola oil goes through is extremely damaging to these essential fatty acids that are highly sensitive to light and heat. For example, most people are aware that flaxseed oil, one of the highest in ALA omega-3s, is not an oil you would want to cook with. It is often, in fact, cold pressed and sold in dark bottles to protect it against oxidation. When it comes to commercial canola oil, by the time it goes through its traditional refining and manufacturing process, it is logical to say that these polyunsaturated fats have largely been exposed to both high heat as well as light. Oil oxidation can have negative repercussions on PUFA content, encouraging free radicals within the body when consumed. In 2018 research on rats, both canola and soybean oil were shown to cause both inflammation as well as oxidative stress. Similarly, in an earlier study, canola oil was concluded to decrease the lifespan of rats tested. Other investigations on mice conclude that chronic consumption of canola oil can have a negative influence on certain neurological functions. If you do decide to use canola oil, it is good to do so in moderation within a well-balanced diet, including good fats like omega-3 ALA-rich foods and marine sources of DHA like fish, seafood and/or fish oil, krill oil, or algae oil supplementation. Number 4. May contain trans fats. According to a Harvard-published article, there are low amounts of artificial trans fats in refined canola oil due to the deodorization process, as well as its exposure to high temperatures that transform polyunsaturated fatty acids into trans fatty acid isomers. These bad trans fats are especially present in partially hydrogenated canola oil, in products like shortening, margarine, and as an ingredient in many packaged and processed foods. It is best to avoid artificial trans fats like hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated canola oil, or at the very least, consume these types of foods sparingly, not on a frequent basis. Keep in mind that trans fats, as a byproduct of industrial vegetable oil refining under current US FDA regulations, are listed on product labels as 0 grams, when they are under 0.5 grams per serving, which is usually 1 tablespoon. Number 5. History of canola oil marketing. Refined canola oil, or as some call it, canola oil, is claimed to have been historically created as the industry's response to reputed artery-clogging saturated fats, in addition to the proposed health risks of consuming other vegetable oils like corn oil and soybean oil. Canola was basically a cheap oil option to olive oil, and was an easy sell as a monounsaturated alternative to the main saturated cooking fats used at that time like lard and butter. By the early 2000s, it was heavily marketed to the health food consumer as a better type of oil to include as part of a balanced diet. Because of saturated fats' past link to heart disease, It is generally recommended that adults keep saturated fat levels between 7 to 10% of your daily caloric intake. While there is an ongoing debate between nutrition scientists and some holistic health authorities about the consumption of fats in the diet, especially the saturated variety, canola oil as an overall replacement is not the best choice for the reasons we previously mentioned. In our opinion, other monounsaturated oils like extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil are better substitutes, as well as unrefined saturated fats like coconut oil and ghee, when used in moderation for cooking purposes. Precautions. We don't recommend the regular use of canola oil or foods with partially hydrogenated canola oil for long-term health and wellness. Before using canola oil products, seek the advice of your nutritionist or dietitian if pregnant, nursing, taking prescribed medication, or if you have a medical condition. Thanks for watching! For additional in-depth info on canola, be sure and check out the links in the description box below this video. Please support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up if you found it useful. And be sure and check out these other informational videos.